Have you heard of a tropical paradise offering you instant citizenship with no residency requirement and a passport delivered in record time? On paper it sounds great, but is it? Hi, my name is Tijana and I'm a strategy associate here at Nomad Capitalist, and today we are going to be talking about the Vanuatu citizenship by investment and about it being a golden ticket. We will talk about all considerations, why is it worth a double take and not in a good way. If you have been following our channel closely, you will kind of know that the easiest paths do come with hidden costs. And let's say that Vanuatu Citizenship by Investment is definitely one of those programs. So even though, while all the Caribbean citizenship by investments did increase their cost, Vanuatu remained at a low $130,000 for the application. Now, it has a very similar path to getting a citizenship, so you will think, oh, it's just like St. Kitts, Antigua, St. Lucia, all of these other programs. But in fact, it's very different. So the appeal of $130,000 for a single applicant for a citizenship in a record time does seem like a good option. And Vanuatu is one of those places that will promise you a passport after you've submitted the application in approximately 2 months. But that also does raise some red flags. When you're thinking about a country giving you a citizenship and actually granting you a passport, is it enough time to take a look at everything in 2 months and decide if you're the proper person to get the citizenship? If you are the proper candidate for this citizenship. Now, there's no residence requirements, there's no language requirements, there is no requirement even to come to Vanuatu to get this citizenship. So why is it so quick? Vanuatu hasn't been doing very well when it comes to the due diligence programs. And as all of you know, due diligence is the most exhausting part of the process of applying for a residence, citizenship, anything you want to think about. So what Vanuatu did is they didn't really carefully pick their candidates and award citizenships, which has actually caused a lot of concern with some countries that did give Vanuatu a visa-free access. What was the biggest selling point with Vanuatu citizenship by investment was the actual access to more than 130 countries around the world, which seems perfect, right? You have your access to the UK, you have your access to the Schengen zone, while EU had a different pathway. They did decide that it was not really according to their regulations. So Vanuatu was no longer as welcome as it used to be, or like Caribbean countries are. You might know also that Dominica had a bit of a similar problem, but Dominica did handle it in a different way. It is not just the EU that was concerned with the way Vanuatu was dealing with these processes. It was also Canada, it was also the US, so there was a lot more scrutiny when you were a holder of Vanuatu passport. And this led to us today having news that some Vanuatu passport holders might actually lose their citizenship because the process wasn't followed properly. Vanuatu is a very small country that is very vulnerable to any economic instability that is surrounding them. They heavily rely on tourism and also the sales of the citizenship itself, which is why maybe they were jumping some hoops here and there to get more funds into the country. But all of these things do have their consequences. And in case of Vanuatu, that means passport is losing its value. Simply put, Vanuatu's passport does not seem to be very stable, so you're not guaranteed that you will have all the perks they're offering at this moment in future because there are so many countries surrounding them that are not happy with the way things are going. All this talk is about having just a second passport in your back pocket, for which Vanuatu might not be so valuable. But if you're someone who likes the lifestyle, who would actually want to live in Vanuatu, then there are some positive things that you should consider. There is no income tax, no capital gains tax, and no inheritance tax, which we all love to hear. But there's also the downside to that. Vanuatu, because of its bad relationship with all these countries, has very limited number of tax treaties, and it's very difficult to be, as a citizen of Vanuatu, going to actually do business in different places. And if you're director of your company, being from Vanuatu might be also difficult to get you bank accounts. So that is another thing to consider as well. Global banking has become such an issue the way it is. So having a Vanuatu passport is not really going to open all the doors for you to actually gain bank accounts, but it can also create an issue because if the bank is associating you with Vanuatu, that actually might be a red flag for you not to even have a bank account opened. Of course, depending on which jurisdictions you are actually interested in when it comes to opening your personal or even corporate bank accounts. positive aspect about Vanuatu's passport is that it's very quick to obtain. So if you're in a situation where you really need that second passport, let's say if you're coming from a country where you just necessarily want to leave, or there is something urgent happening, or we're hit by another black swan event like we were with COVID, and you just need that quick second passport to either be able to leave the country, move somewhere else, or even renounce your citizenship, in some cases it is necessary, then Vanuatu might be a good choice. But when it comes to all the other situations, you might want to reconsider. Now, we are aware that Caribbean islands have raised their prices. But if you take a look at it, Vanuatu's passport is $130 for a single person, and then Caribbean countries are starting at $200,000 plus for a single person and a family. So if you're choosing between the two, it's not a huge price difference for what you're actually getting. Because places like St. Kitts, Antigua, and St. Lucia, and even Dominican Grenada are reputable places where if you're a citizen of these countries, you might have a much easier time when you're traveling to other places or living in other places. In addition, places like St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Antigua, Dominica, Grenada are part of CARICOM countries, which means that you are getting a greater value for the money that you are paying for, because with one of these passports, you can reside up to 6 months in any of the CARICOM countries, which Vanuatu doesn't really give you the benefit of. Besides the Caribbean, if you're not really interested in that island life, if you're more looking into Europe, if you're looking into different places, there are so many other opportunities. If you're not in store for a quick passport, like I said before, if you're not in an immediate need, there are other options. Of course, Malta has their own program for the Citizenship by Investment, which actually gives you the best passport out of all of these different programs available, but it is a bit more on the expensive side, so I would understand that part. But there are also golden visas. We have golden visas in Portugal, golden visas in Italy, Spain, Greece. So a lot of opportunities out there for you where you can actually get a much better value for your buck. So is Vanuatu Citizenship by Investment your golden ticket to freedom? Or is it ultimately not? One thing you can do is you can go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply and you can become our client, where we help our clients go where they're treated best. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. My name is Tijana, and I will see you in the next video.